Oh, hello. Welcome back to the show. How are you today, Colin?
I'm good, man. I had my first day of class today. So obviously, we're
Awesome.
going to post this on Wednesday. So that would be my second day. But I'm fired up right now. I'm really excited to give this media thing a go.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. The more you learn, the bigger things that come for this show. I'm just the happy guy here that gets to run the show. Um, Sean, how are you doing today, man?
Great,
How's
man.
Was it another beautiful American day in the USMC?
Oh, it can't get no better than this.
All right, guys, we got a loaded one today because college football is once again proving that you can throw the world book out the window. And something even crazier will happen before we kick off before week zero. When we're going to talk about that and the NFL players transferring to college, I'm still going to express my opinion on it because it happened. We know that the Big Ten and the SEC have currently banned it as of today, which is big news. So we're kind of one of the first ones on this, which I'm excited about. But I still want to address my opinion on it, and I got a little funny joke for y'all when we get to it. But yeah, we got NFL players going back to college. We got the NCAA and courts fighting over eligibility. We got conference commissioners trying to figure out how they're supposed to regulate all this. We've got the group of six fighting for that playoff spot, and then we're going deep into the Big 12 today. But before we get into football, I'm going to start somewhere completely different, guys. I'm going to talk about something. I don't know if y'all know this or not about me, but I am a huge country music fan, and I'm pretty sure y'all both seen the news about Dolly Parton today. We lost somebody who was bigger than country music. She was 80 years old. If you're from Tennessee, Appalachia, or anywhere in the South, Dolly wasn't just a singer; she was part of the culture. You think about songs like Jolene, "I'll Always Love You." You think about "Nine to Five" and Dollywood. You think about how she took the story of growing up in rural East Tennessee and turned it into something the entire world connected with. And one thing I always respected about Dolly was she never forgot where she came from. She came from extremely humble beginnings, became one of the biggest entertainers in the world, and used success to give back. Her imagination library became one of the most recognizable children's literacy programs in America, sending free books to children. And her late Dolly Parton's legacy goes way beyond music. Rest in peace, Dolly. Um, she will be missed. She was a very positive person in the world, and we don't have many of those today.
Yeah, very influential, man. I think Sean, you like country music too, right? You're a country music fan, right?
Yeah.
So we all like country music on this podcast, and that definitely hits home. Somebody that's very influential to the genre.
Yeah, and I know this is a sports podcast, and then I'm going to say this and leave it here. If there's two things in the world, like if there wasn't sports in this world, the only thing in this world that could bring everybody together is music. There's two things in this world that can bring everybody together, and that's sports and music. But we've been sad. Now let's get weird. Let's talk about the NFL, the college football loophole. When I do this, so when I was looking into this, and so far, all I've seen is SEC and Big Ten banned. I don't think the NCAA is banned it as of right now. They might be banned by the NCAA by the time this episode comes out. We record the day before. But you play, in my opinion, I'm going to say this: you play college football, you finish your eligibility, you enter the NFL draft. You don't get drafted. You sign with an NFL team. You make it through training camp, and then you decide you want to go back to college. Not coaching, not finishing your degree, playing football, and somehow that's actually possible right now. The guy at the center of this is Daquan Wright. Wright played at Virginia Tech before transferring to Ole Miss. He finished his college career with 113 receptions, 1,600 yards in 2025 at Ole Miss alone. He had 39 catches for 635 yards and 5 touchdowns. He went undrafted. We know he signed with the Eagles. And then we know Cleveland claimed him off waivers on August 11th. And Wright did something we've never seen before. He entered the transfer portal while being an active NFL player. An NFL play, an NFL player entered the college transfer portal. That's a weird sentence for me to say. It kind of makes me want to laugh. But here we are. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so obviously the Big Ten and the SEC as a conference basically getting together and outlawing it. And I would assume that even if, because, you guys know Matt, and Matt hasn't been on the podcast yet, but he may one day come on the podcast, and I know he could be viewing this, but Matt was talking about injunctions that could be filed against the conference. But even if that were to happen, do you really think that the conferences, the coaches and the athletic directors, specifically the athletic directors who are the boss of the college football coaches in these two power conferences, are going to allow that to happen? And also, I expect for the Big 12 and the ACC to follow suit. Sean, what about you?
Are you getting any of that, Colin?
No. I was waiting for you to say something because I wasn't sure. Sean, your audio is kind of cutting out on us right now. Go ahead, John.
I'll say this, and I'll see. Well, I'll get back to Sean and see if his audio's working. But I kind of want to talk about my question. One of the questions when I was studying this, and I want to talk about this because, God, we need week 0 to hurry up. It's in a couple days. We need a football game fast because this storyline, the Jaden Daniels story, I'm tired of these storylines. But I sit here and I try to wrap my head around these big college football storylines. And something came through my head when I was studying this, getting ready, prepping for the podcast. And one thing I want to speak on, how did we get here? The NCAA changed its eligibility structure, creating a 5-year window for players moving forward. But that created a problem for the previous senior class. We thought it was going to be a solution, and it created a problem. And players that had been operating under old rules were suddenly caught between two systems. Some of those players went to court, particularly in Louisiana, issued orders allowing certain players from that group to pursue another season. I know Lane, the SEC banning this, probably hurt Lane's feelings. But this is what opened this door.
Stop with that, bro. Hold on. Stop. You're just trying to troll right now. That's all you're trying to do with this whole Lane Kiffin slander. We can't get through an SEC segment without you telling the whole world about how you can't stand Lane Kiffin.
This opened the door for. I've heard you somehow bring in every episode, before I finish my point here, and every episode about how, if we're talking NFL, how the Lions suck, how Michigan sucks. I've heard you somehow bring it in every episode. So
that doesn't keep me from being impartial about this. This is not going to affect Lane Kiffin whatsoever. Lane Kiffin's got a roster. Lane Kiffin's got a team. It's a very talented team. We've already dove into that. He's not going to be hurt by this whatsoever. They weren't counting on Daquan Wright. They weren't counting on Jack Pyburn. All right? Just set the record straight.
But this 5-year eligibility rule, as I was saying, it opened the door for players like Daquan Wright and others. The important thing here is that the NCAA is simply saying, hey, NFL players can play college football again. And I'm glad that the SEC and the Big Ten has put their foot down. But this results in a legal fight over eligibility. And once the door is open, coaches like Lane Kiffin, Kalen DeBoer, even anybody's going to walk through that door where the NFL players are. And, if they can get them, they're going to grab them. And,
Well, not in all circumstances. I make the argument here that, and look, the thing about Jack Pyburn, he was on that defense with Blake Baker. The thing with Daquan Wright, he was already in Lane Kiffin's offense and Charlie Weiss Jr.'s offense. But ultimately, in certain situations, would you be bringing a guy in from the transfer portal specifically? And you could say Daquan Wright to the portal, but let's face it, he would have gone to LSU. Like the idea of Tommy Castellanos joining Texas Tech late. He ain't going to start. I can promise you that. It's only for depth, but you're not going to shake up a locker room based on that.
Okay, and I'm not gonna. I want to go down a rabbit hole with you but I'll just say this, and we're gonna dig into this team today because they're going to be talked about. I mean, they're coming off a playoff run and they're looking pretty strong. But Will Hammond's a good quarterback, and I'm going to leave that at that. And Tommy C, not a great quarterback. I'm going to leave that at that. And if Sean, how's your audio working? Can you give us some input?
Can y'all hear me any better now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Give us some input. You're back. I hope we didn't lose him.
Sean, do you hear us?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll on.
We're going live. We're looking live.
But when it comes to Daquan Wright, and I'm going to use him as an example because he's been the biggest pushed out narrative. Nothing against Lane Kiffin. If anything, I'm taking shots at Daquan Wright. This is where people are going to have completely different opinions. You can say that's not fair. You can say this guy's has already had a college career. You can say, why should an NFL player get another roster spot? And I understand all those arguments. I do. And I think I've kind of put myself on those side of the argument so far. But this is exactly what exactly do you expect a coach to do? Let's say you're Lane Kiffin. I'm about to talk good about him, so bear with me, guys. You had an opportunity to bring in an experienced tight end who already played in the SEC, already knows your system, already played for you, has NFL training camp experience, and has proven college production. You're telling me you're supposed to say, nah, I'll take the 18 years, though, because it feels morally cleaner. It's morally right to play the 18-year-old. That's not how coaching works, okay? These guys are trying to win football games. Their job security depends on winning football games. You know who's job security depends on winning football games? Lane Kiffin. He didn't get all that money for no reason. He didn't get all that money to lose football games. If Kiffin passes on Daquan Wright and Daquan Wright goes somewhere else, which we know he can't get him now, and that's why I said he'd be upset because Daquan Wright, if they don't change the rule, if the ACC and Big 12 don't step up, and even Group of Six conferences are, Wright's going to go somewhere, and he's going to catch 50 balls. And say that the SEC didn't put in this rule today. What if LSU loses three games and Daquan Wright is on a different team catching 50 balls? And they lose those 3 games by
at this
one
point,
score.
and it's only a what if.
Nobody's going to congratulate Lane Kiffin for taking the moral high ground and playing the 18-year-old. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, okay.
But I think
Sean, hold up. Sean, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got any thoughts on this?
Oh man. I mean, like I said, y'all basically hit everything on the head. The only thing I don't like is why can't we get through having these issues with the NCAA and courts going back and forth over this stupid bullcrap, man? It's like, if it's not one thing, it's the other. I mean, we got players over here trying to transfer back into the freaking college athlete world. Like, you're not a college no more, dude. You've already done that life, man. Like, we also like have the whole things this off season with what was it? Was it Joey Aguilar or freaking who was the other
Trinidad
big name?
Trinidad.
Trinidad. Who was the other one for? Who was the other one?
Brendan Sorsby.
Brendan Sorsby. Yeah. I mean,
I think
all these big name kids like fighting against this stuff, man. And they've had time and time again to fix everything and do it the right way, and they didn't.
I think the Brendan Sorsby issue was a legitimate. But I don't think courts belong in college football. I think Brendan Sorsby's the one outlier when it comes into that because you can't it don't matter what sports you play. Gambling is frowned upon. And if you are a competitor, now us as fans gamble all day long. But if you're of a competitor, it's frowned upon. And I think the Brandon Sorsby situation was addressed properly. Now, when you get suspended for 2 games, which has now been put down to 1 for a plane ticket, this is when we're running into problems. And that's what I want to get into. I've talked about the good. I gave my opinion a little bit, but I want to talk the bigger problem that this thing brings into the situation. Imagine you put yourself in an Ohio State uniform for a second, Colin. Sean, you put yourself in an Alabama uniform. You got the starting job, Colin. Sean, you got the starting job. Y'all are about to play college football at y'all's dream schools. You've spent 4 years at this school. You fought on for that roster spot for 4 years. And then somebody who literally just spent a summer in NFL training camp says, "What's up, Colin? What's up, Sean? Guess who's back? I'm back." That's where this becomes a problem. This isn't just about eligibility. It's about roster economics, scholarships, NIL, playing time, and whether college football becomes a two-way pipeline. For the longest time, the path was high school, college, NFL. Now we're potentially looking at high school, college to NFL, to college to NFL. And once you establish that as a legitimate pathway, why would players not use it? Why would coaches not use it? And that's a problem. If you fought for a roster spot for 4 years at your dream school, there should not be somebody who just spent a summer with the Miami Dolphins coming and saying, "Hey, Colin, hey, Sean, I'm back."
So where we're living. And look, the Big Ten and the SEC made a move today, and it's the right move. It's the right move, and they're flexing the power that they have for the time being that the NCAA just doesn't have at the end of the day. And you can give them a lot of praise for that. You can get those conference commissioners and athletic directors a lot of credit for that decision.
And yes, and I'm going to talk about this, how the conference have responded. The Big Ten didn't just complain about the situation. The Big Ten did it first. I give the props to the Big Ten for this. The conference changed the rules on August 25th. They unanimously adapted a rule prohibiting football players, and I believe it was every sport, who have signed professional contracts that appeared on the professional roster, declared for the NFL draft as an underclassman, without withdrawing from maintaining eligibility at Big Ten schools. That's massive. And then, hey, SEC followed suit today. That's massive. Now we need everybody else to follow suit. Because the Big Ten and the SEC, I'm glad the Big Ten took the lead, and they're saying, hey, whatever the courts are allowing, we're not allowing in the SEC. We're not allowing in the Big Ten. And that tells you the issue isn't going away. It's getting bigger. So my question is, if we don't see ACC and
just give it time. I'm not there yet. Well,
I want to ask this question because this is a very good question. Because hear me out. My question is, does the NFL eventually have to get involved? Because
they
might. The NCAA don't have it under control.
They might. This is the first type of thing that the NCAA and former players or players with eligibility rules has actually affected the NFL. So the NFL might, if something were to actually happen, but nothing has actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, but if Daquan Wright will be playing college football this year.
We don't know that. We do not know that.
I'm predicting it.
That's great. You can predict it all you want, but you can't make a statement about how it's going to affect the NFL or the NFL's involvement when the NFL is not technically involved yet because Daquan Wright is not playing college football. Jack Pyburn is not playing college football. The NFL will get involved if one owner complains about it and the other owners sympathize and essentially say, we don't want that to happen to us. Therefore, we need you guys to go after this legally, and they're going to be able to.
All right. So, Sean, do you got any input?
No, I mean, I'm tired of I'm tired of the want and the cry and the going to court and trying to get the court to literally overrule the NCAA. I don't like that, man.
It don't sit right with me.
Yeah, I agree. Courts, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Courts and politics um, don't belong in sports. And I'll tell you this right now. Uh, just to me and Colin's little argument there. If they don't universally change this rule in the NCAA, Daquan Wright will be on the team and he will ball out. And with that being said, I want to get into the group of six. And we're talking about the group of six playoff race. So let's move on complete from eligibility and sanity and talk about what's going on, what's coming up, and that's the group of six playoff race. We're about to head through the journey of college football, something I really love. So I want to tell you, I've been watching four teams. I have four teams. I've been watching very closely.
I got 5. I think
so-
Sean has 4 as well, right, Sean?
Oh, we lost it.
Sean. All right.
But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give you my pick, my group of six pick, and then you give me yours. And then after that, I'll give you the other teams on my watch list. But my pick is James Madison. I have them going 12-0. They have a legitimate schedule that gives them a chance to run the tables. They have a couple games I've circled. September 5th, Liberty, San Diego State, September 19th, and a Thursday night road trip to Appalachian State on October 22nd. The Appalachian State game is one that really interests me. Thursday night, road game, conference opponent. The Appalachian State's got a great atmosphere. It can get nasty. If James Madison can survive that stretch undefeated, I think they're in.
Wow.
And Billy Napier, I think he'll be back at a Power 4 school soon. He's a great
but
Sunbelt
dude,
coach.
that is really bold, putting them at 12-0. That is insanely bold. Are you listing off your teams, or you just want me to go?
I'm gonna list them off. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go. You're gonna go. We're gonna do like that. But boys, James Madison's my pick.
So, you want me to start at the top then?
Yeah, we're starting at the top.
All right. Well, my pick to come out of the group of six has actually changed since my TikTok with the playoff. And the reason why it changed is because I misunderstood the Pac-12's rules. So let me explain. I have Fresno State winning the Pac-12, but part of that baked in was me projecting a game in week 13. That projection of that game, though I do have them winning that projection, they're going to not count that as a conference game within the Pac-12. I misunderstood. Therefore, Fresno State would not be in the conference championship in this scenario I pointed out. All of that to say, my new group of six representative, and it's like pulling teeth. I could have picked any of these 5 teams that I'm going to list, but I'm picking San Diego State.
Any audio?
John, you there? We can't hear Sean. Yeah. John, what did you do? Oh my gosh, I'm alone here. Okay, so I'm just going to keep the show rolling here because we just lost both of our guys here. Don't know what happened, but oh my gosh. So at number 4, by the way, or at number 2, though, my second place team is going to be. What in the world, John? You left me hanging.
I didn't get to hear anything you said about number 1. So
yeah, well,
I don't even know who your
I was
pick
about
was.
to move on to number 2, but I will just elaborate on number 1. San Diego State, returning production, experience. They're going to be competitive. I pinpoint 3 teams in the Pac-12. I kind of already mentioned Fresno State. I'll mention the other one here in a little bit that I believe will contend in that conference. And honestly, I think it's just a roll of the dice on whether or not the Pac-12 Mountain West or the American is the representative. I have my doubts that the MAC will. The Conference USA is definitely not strong enough in my eyes, and I really don't think the Sun Belt is either. So I'm picking San Diego State. But honestly, it could be many different teams, and I'll list off a couple other teams who I think could be.
So Yeah, San Diego State. They didn't make my list, but they're kind of on the outside looking for me. I got them winning 9, 10 games, and I'm interested to see how it goes. But my number two is Boise
Wait,
State.
Sean didn't give a team.
Oh, sorry, I was out for a minute. Go ahead, Sean.
Sean, you there? I don't know if he hears us. That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I had to drop. I couldn't hear. But I'll go ahead and give my number two, and when he comes back, he can give us two. I'm going 11-1. I mean Boise State. I got them going 11-1 with a loss to Oregon on September 5th. That's a brutal opener. Then you've got Memphis on September 12th, followed by Mountain West. No, they're in the Pac-12 now. Sorry, excuse
So
me.
who? Wait, I'm sorry. Who did you just say? Trying to figure everything out with Sean here.
Boise State, and I got.
Oh yeah, they're in the Pac-12 now.
Yeah, I said Mountain West. I meant Pac-12, but they got a Pac-12 road game at Washington State and Colorado State. That's not an easy schedule, but if Boise State finishes 11-1 with Oregon on the resume, I think they have a real argument.
Sean, you there? Okay.
Right, give us your
All
third.
right. Well, I didn't end up giving my second when you guys were out, so you guys jumped in before I could do that. I have Memphis as that second team vying for that spot. They're my favorite to come out of the American. I'm a huge fan of Charles Huff. What he's been able to do at Marshall, a winning culture there, completely flipped Southern Miss in 1 year. And if it weren't for injury luck, they probably would have been in the Sun Belt Championship playing against James Madison. And I also think it's underrated nationally how much talent that Memphis really attracts. They have that FedEx money coming in over there. So they're able to fund their roster better than most G6 teams. I think all they need is a better coach. And I think the American is wide open right now with the replacement of guys like John Sumrall and guys like Alex Galesh and guys like Ryan Silverfield over at Memphis. Eric Morris. So I think Memphis is a solid pick out of the American.
Hey, check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
Yes.
Okay, you're in here. So in just a second, Sean, you're gonna give us your 1 and 2 team. I'm just surprised you said something positive about Golich. Go ahead.
I didn't say anything positive about Golich, but you're talking about replacing coaches. Anyway, go ahead, Sean.
I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. I apologize. But what are we giving right now? What are we talking about?
Give us your top 2 group of 6 teams in order 1 and 2. 1 first.
I'm gonna go James Madison at 1, and I'll give you even a reason behind it. James Madison is my 1 just because of their favorable schedule. That is literally why they are my number 1. I don't necessarily think they have the best team. I just think they have the best schedule. My second best team.
Now you better watch
Boise
out for that Appalachian State game on the road, though, on Thursday night.
Now, now I can agree on that, but other than that, none of those games kind of give me any kind of worries. Boise State's probably
I had JMU 1 and I had 3 of them circled myself. But go ahead.
Yeah, Boise State is my number 2. I think they have a lot of talent returning, and I think they have a good roster. So I think that they will come out and have a. I think they finish in the top 25 at the end of the year. And I think they'll be in talks during the year of maybe a playoff spot. Well, we'll see. But I got a sleeper for y'all. My sleeper for y'all is UNLV, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Is that your number 3 team?
Yeah, that's my sleeper, kind of like number 3 team, whatever you want to call it. And the reason why is a lot of people don't know the key pieces they have over there. A lot of people don't like either none of these names I'm about to bring up actually. You got Jackson Arnold, Jake Pope, and Dan Mullen as the head coach. Man, they're gonna be a squad. I hate to tell everybody, but they're
Uh,
gonna be a squad. I really think so. So we'll see about them.
Colin, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off Sean because I had UNLV at 3 as well. I don't know if they've named a starting quarterback yet because they might have a battle with Alex Orji and Jackson Arnold. I don't know. I know they got both
Yeah,
those guys.
I do want to touch on that. If Alex Orji is really competing for that job, do we really think Jackson Arnold's going to be able to level up in Dan Mullen's offense?
So Dan Mullen, I mean, Dan Mullen is, say what you want about Dan Mullen. Here's the thing about Dan Mullen, man. UNLV is a real fascinating team. We can all agree on that. I do have them going 11-1. They do open up a tough one against Memphis on August 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Then they host California. Then they got North Dakota State. That's a schedule where you can build a resume, but you also have some opportunities to get yourself in trouble. So it's real fascinating.
Oh,
and
I agree.
Dan Mullen is a great college football coach. His biggest mistake of his career was leaving Mississippi State to get that Florida job. I honestly, do I want to say it out loud? Florida is where coaches go to die. Since Urban Meyer, Florida has been where coaches go to die. And the crazy part is, if a couple things would have went in Dan Mullen's favor, he may still be at Florida.
He didn't recruit. That's why they fired him. It's because he gave up on recruiting.
But you look at him, man, and what he was able to do at Mississippi State and what he was able to do. He put Dak Prescott in the league.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott's a really good NFL quarterback now. Whether you want to rank him, that's a debate for another day. But I think we can all agree he's a good NFL quarterback.
He's had a bunch of good quarterbacks.
He's had good quarterbacks.
Fitzgerald,
Right.
Dak,
Kyle Trask.
Trask. I mean,
Will Rogers.
He can develop quarterbacks. That's no question. I'm not worried about him developing.
Will Rogers was recruited by Mullen, but that ended up being a Mike Leach quarterback.
But Will Rogers was a dog.
But I'm just clarifying that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying this, man. He can develop if he's got the right system up there at UNLV. I have no doubt that whether it be Alex Orji or whether it be Jackson Arnold, I feel like Jackson Arnold has just a slight talent edge over Orji. That's just my personal opinion. But if Jackson Arnold gets that spot, I think he goes on some kind of like weird revenge arc type bull crap and has a crazy year. I'm just being honest.
And let's just say Alex Orji gets the job somehow, some way. I think he can develop Alex Orji into a better quarterback. This guy was at Michigan, and he had to be at Michigan for a reason. Somebody had to see potential in it.
I mean, both of them came from great schools.
Did Harbaugh recruit Orji or no?
Yes.
Okay, Harbaugh recruited him, so he has.
Okay, wait. What does that mean? Harbaugh had one
JJ McCarthy.
solid college quarterback. One solid college quarterback. He recruited Cade McNamara too. He also had freaking Wilton Spate, for goodness sakes. John O'Corn.
I'm really taking a shot at. I'm not holding Harbaugh to this high pedestal, but when it comes to Harbaugh and Sharon Moore, I hold Harbaugh up here.
Their hit rate on quarterbacks out of high school wasn't high, though. That's the thing. You're giving them credit that they don't deserve. Alex Orji was terrible when he played at Michigan. He couldn't even beat out Davis Warren, who was also terrible and terrible on a terrible team this year. And dude, this isn't a hate Michigan segment. It's not. But I'll give you this. I trust Jason Beck and Kyle Whittingham more than I do these guys. Anyway, go ahead. I had to get on my
point. My point is, if Alex Orji beats the guy, and then you can give your number 3. If anybody can develop Orji, it's Mullen. That's my point.
Well, all right. So here's what I'm going to say about Alex Orji. Before he got hurt last year, they kind of were flirting with like 2 quarterback system, using him in certain situations. They actually took the battle into week 0 last year against Idaho State. But with that being said, I don't have UNLV in my top 5. And the biggest reason I don't is because they're not my favorite out of the Mountain West. Neither is North Dakota State. But I think stylistically, I love Jaden Thomas, by the way, the running back there at UNLV. He's a great player, maybe the best running back in the G6. New Mexico is my pick. It's looking like the Oregon transfer Luke Moga is going to end up being the starting quarterback, which is as good as Lane was last year. Jack Lane on that quarterback position. He was a steady hand game manager. Luke Moga's got a lot more talent than Jack Lane. They still have Laubstein there for the goal line packages. They're going to be able to run the football. I think losing Dorian Thomas is going to hurt them on an offensive production side of the ball, but their defense is going to be the nastiest defense in this conference. And ultimately, this is the point about UNLV. Where I don't trust UNLV is when they have to play in cold weather late in the year and when they have to play these physical football teams. They're going to have to play against physical teams like Wyoming, who I think is trending up under Jay Savell. And then you also got North Dakota State coming in, who's the master of physicality at the FCS level, and they're going to be able to compete at the FBS level like that. And New Mexico with Jason Eck, one of the best coaches in the group of 6, maybe the best coach in the group of 6, who gets his name as a Wisconsin alum off of physicality. So I got New Mexico.
Okay, so my number 4 is Memphis. And Colin, you kind of hit one of my points on the head. They got the FedEx money. They have no problem with money. One question I have for them is replacing Rick Silverfield. And now when I say that, I do think Rick Silverfield was the worst SEC hire this offseason. I feel like Arkansas didn't dig very deep into looking for a coach. I don't think this was a home run hire. I think this was a downgrade. The only positive thing I see with Silverfield at Arkansas is he's got a similar recruiting pipeline. Memphis and Arkansas is not that far apart. You got West Memphis, Arkansas. They're really kind of connected. But I do have Memphis going 10-2. With all that being said, they
You
open
have
up
them
with
losing Saturday? Well, we don't answer that.
I'll say this. I'm about to name 3 games. I have them losing 2 of them. They open up with UNLV on August 29th. And they travel to and I got UNLV at a loss, so you don't know who my pick is yet. They travel to Boise State on September 12th. And they later travel to Tulane on October 16th. That's nasty. If they can split UNLV and Boise State, then take care of business the rest of the way, they're absolutely live. And that Tulane game, I got it circled on October 16th, but I think Tulane, they take a big fall this year. Losing Summerall, that's big shoes to fill. And I'm not going to predict too much on Tulane. I'll just have to see the product in the season on the field. You can't never leave Tulane out of the conversation when we talk group of 6. But losing Summerall, that's big shoes to fill.
All right. So, Sean, do you have any more teams to throw out there, or are you kind of tapped out here?
I got you a team that ain't neither one of y'all talked about.
Maybe I will talk about them. I still got 2 more.
Hey. Well, you got 2 more. I got 1 more. Go ahead and give me one of yours.
Well, one of mine, I'm picking Fresno State as my 4. I think Fresno State in year 2 under Matt Entz, establishing that physicality. They're bringing back the fullback position over there. A lot of hype.
Oh, I love the fullback position. Let's go.
A lot of hype in the group of 6 deep cut circles about that. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. But really good team last year. Kind of went under the radar, underappreciated. I think most college football fans caught them on the national spotlight against Kansas, where they just didn't have the best day. The biggest thing that this season's going to hinge on for Fresno State is how good is Christian Martin, their starting quarterback, transferred in from Maryland. How good is he going to be able to perform at this level, a step down in competition? We will see if he can be an upgrade, because it was very up and down with EJ Warner last year.
So Colin. I am a big follower of the Bosch CFB on TikTok, and I was really surprised when you didn't pick them as your number 1 team. But I knew you were going to talk about Fresno State at some point. And I did some research on them, and I'm gonna give you three pros, and I'm gonna give you three cons because I was prepared for this. They're coming off a solid 9-win season under head coach Matt Ince. Um, they look like a legitimate contender in their conference. They have some favorable key matchups at home. Uh, Boise State. Uh, but they have a brutal road stretch outside of California for the bulk of the early to mid season. Um, they do have an opener against USC, I believe.
Yeah, they play
Yes,
USC.
USC. Yeah.
Definitely, pretty much in pen that's a loss.
But they're two challenging away games I'm looking at. You know, they got to take a trip to Washington State and San Diego State. We'll see. We'll test their depth and their durability. I think this conference, when we talk about this conference, the race is so tightly contested among top contenders that I'm scared that Fresno might have an early slip up with these road games in a hostile environment, and it could derail quickly. But you know, they geographically their travel break is really good. Um, they do have some favorable key matchups at home, and they got roster momentum. So we'll just have to see. But I think this is going to be a very tight conference race. If Fresno State doesn't slip up, you may be on to something.
Well, if I remember correctly, I predicted them to lose on the road at San Diego State, which is what would gatekeep them out of the conference championship, which is why I put them at number 4 instead of putting them in the playoff like I initially thought. And then they would lose on the road at Utah State. Those are the two conference losses I have for them. And I have Boise State, spoiler alert, for my number 5 team. So I'll just give you my number 5 team and let Sean give his last one. 5 was Boise State. I do have them beating Boise State. But Boise State, I believe I had going 6-1 in conference. Fresno State going 5-2. And San Diego State going 5-2, winning the tiebreaker over Fresno. So Fresno or San Diego State and Boise State would play. But who knows? Because we also don't know what that last week 13 matchup is going to be. That's the tricky part about predicting the Pac-12 right now. So I'm putting 3 teams and saying one of those 3 are winning it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Not so fast, my friend.
I know.
Hey.
I know which team you're going with. I know.
Not so fast, my friend. Hey, that's a famous line. Let's see if y'all catch on to that later on. But hey, my team is actually John Whalen. Hey, wait for it. Hey, Navy, come on. Hey, y'all sleeping on Navy. Hey, listen. Navy had a great year last year, man. And they have some studs that went to the NFL. Two guys actually that went to the NFL, and they're going to be studs in the NFL. I think. I wholeheartedly think. But I see good things coming out of Navy, man. They're on the uprise, and I actually see those guys finishing above Memphis this year. Actually, so hey, we'll see. I got them going. 10-2 right now, so maybe they'll keep my hopes and dreams alive. So we'll see.
Okay, so I'm ready. I'm ready to get kicked off the podcast for this. Air Force is winning the Commander-in-Chief trophy. They 100% are.
So,
Troy Calhoun.
I don't know why you said that. First thing I'm going to say to Sean is Semper Fi, but I love Navy. We're beating Army for sure. And I love Navy, but I got to take the fandom out of it. I mean, there's a bunch of devil dogs on that team that I want to see make the playoffs. They got the fullback position just like Fresno State, and I love the fullback position.
So does Fresno, Arizona, or Air Force. Gosh,
but that Navy's not losing to Air Force. Come
on
now.
Nobody runs that.
Air Force is easily in the best situation. Army's going to beat Navy too. So
hey, nobody runs that offense like Navy runs. I would love to
see Navy in the playoff, and if Alabama doesn't somehow misses the playoff and Navy's in there as that group of 6, I will be pulling for Navy.
They lost so much. I mean, they're going to be good.
It's
They're
just
a good program, but it's cyclical.
they are a good program.
What did they lose? What did they
And they're
lose?
well-
Colin,
Their starting
Yeah.
quarterback, top 2 running backs, their best receiver, their fullback, half of their offensive line.
They are-
did you not go watch and see who they just recruited?
They
I'll
are
give
doesn't
it.
matter.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
Gosh, man.
They are a good program. They really are. And they just can't seem to get over that hump. But as much as I love fullbacks, we're getting into my favorite part of the show, quarterbacks. Big 12 top 5 quarterbacks.
This is going to be interesting. I know it will be because they got a lot more depth than what people give them credit for.
Yes, I want to say this, and as we get it, I not on this segment, you're not going to see it. But when we get into Big 12 predictions, stop disrespecting the Big 12. Stop. This was when I dug into this was very hard to do. And they got some legitimately, not playoff contender teams, but they got some legitimately good teams. But they got some legitimate playoff contender teams too, I really believe.
I'm going to save this for last. Let me put this in before you give me your first number 5 quarterback. There are quarterbacks that I'm leaving off the list that I project easily could be in the top 5 by the end of the year. And I will name them if they don't get mentioned at the end of the segment.
So the first one at number 5, I got Connor Wegman. I think at Houston at 5. He had 2,700 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 700 rushing yards, and 11 rushdowns for 36 total touchdowns. He also had a 4 touchdown performance against LSU in a 38-35 win. And I'm telling you, LSU's defense was good. In the last couple of years, LSU's defense hasn't been good. And the problem with LSU last year was their offensive line, and they had no receivers. And then that's been the problem with LSU. That's the type of game I look at, and that's not just a stat line. Can you make plays when the team needs them? When you have a 4 touchdown performance and your team wins 38-35, you're clutch. And I already named his stats. That's why I got Connor Wegman at number 5.
He was really good in one-score games for sure down the stretch, whether it be taking care of the football and icing it away, or if it was just being able to go and win the game for his team. He was really good in those situations last year. I'm not going to lie to you, Sean. I don't even have him in my top 5. So, Sean, your reaction is kind of crazy to me. Number 5, I got Drew Mestemaker. Drew Mestemaker, highly productive over at North Texas. I think that the transition for Oklahoma State will be a little bit tougher than what people give it credit for with all those North Texas players there. They're still going to be a decent team. But Drew Mestemaker, I think that you kind of have to prove it at this level. And there's also another let's just say there's another small school transfer into this conference that I like way more.
Go ahead, Sean. Let's hear your number 5.
Man, I don't even know if I want to talk ball with these two dudes, man.
No, trust me. I'm not wrong, Sean. I'm just early.
Dude, hold on. We're going to talk about this for a minute because hold on. First, I'm going to piggyback off John. Then I'm going to piggyback off you. All right. First, hey, Connor Wegman at 5 is absolutely insane to me. You not even having him on your list, that's even more
Not
insane.
going to lie, Sean. He was this close to not being on my list.
That's, y'all, dude. Y'all got some issues, man.
Hear me out, bro. You got to hear me out first.
He's a lot closer to 6.
I'm gonna hear you out, but hey, listen, you gonna hear me out.
He's closer to 6 than he is 4 on my list, Sean.
I'm gonna tell you where he's at on my list. He's number 2, and here's why. He is about to take that Houston team to 11-1 this year. Watch.
We're getting into it immediately.
Hey,
oh man.
Yeah. Yes.
Mixing the two segments together right now.
Hey, he passes 3,000 pass yards this year, guaranteed, and he throws for 25 plus
Well,
TDs. I'm telling you, he takes it to the next level this year.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm high on him.
No,
But there's some good
look.
quarterbacks in the Big 12.
There's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the Big 12, and once you hear the rest of my list, there's going to be one that you guys have a question mark about that I really like and I've been talking about for the last few weeks really highly. But other than that, like the three other players I have on here that I haven't mentioned, I think you guys are going to see where I'm coming from.
So, Sean, you gave us your number 2, but who's your number 5?
But hold on, I still ain't even done because y'all are mentioning these names, so I gotta go through them. I gotta go through them while y'all are talking about them, cause like y'all already talking about them, and I might as well talk about them while y'all talking about them. Number one, y'all stole my boy. Y'all put my boy Drew Mastermaker at 5.
Yeah, that's where
Let's
he
just hear it, Sean.
belongs.
Listen, what we're going to do for Sean, man, since he's all fired up, he seems to be clock locked and dialed. See what we'll do, Sean. Me and Colin's going to go ahead and give our 4 through 1. You give your input as we go. You ain't even got to give us your list. You just sit there and we'll do it like that, man. Because at number 4, I have Avery
I was going to
Johnson.
say, sorry, give me a second. I was just going to say, we're going to hear Sean give us the right list according to him, I guess, right?
I'll
Avery
give you the
Johnson.
right list after y'all are done.
Number 4, Avery Johnson, Kansas State. He started out 12 games in 2025. He put up 18 passing touchdowns with 477 rush yards. He's one of those quarterbacks, kind of like a Damon Williams out of Washington, where his running ability just completely changes how defenses have to play against Kansas State. If he takes another step as a passer, and I'm kind of predicting he will, watch out, and that's why I have him at number 4. That Kansas State team's a little intriguing to me. I'm going to keep a lookout at them as the season goes on.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about and touch on Kansas State here in a little bit. I left Avery Johnson off the top 5 too.
But okay, so who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Bear Bachmeier. I love Bear Bachmeier. The way that he plays physical as a runner, he's powerful there, and I think he's going to take that step forward. All progress report, he's going to take steps forward as far as being able to be a passer. I don't know if his production is going to go up like crazy because their wide receiver room's a little bit of a question mark. But as far as a player goes, I think Bear Bachmeier is going to be incredibly valuable to a really good football team.
Okay, so Sean's hitting his head, so he's taking notes. He's taking
You don't like
notes.
Bear Bachmeier?
No, he's not even on my list.
So, my number 3, Drew Mestemaker, Oklahoma State. In 2025 at North Texas, Mestemaker threw for 4,379 yards, 34 touchdowns, and guess what? He led the nation in passing yards. And if I remember correctly, I think Indiana and Cincinnati was chasing pretty hard after this guy. He also had a 608-yard explosion against Charlotte. 608 yards against Charlotte. Now we got to translate that production to the Power 4, the Big 12. That's the only debate with him. Can he translate his production into the Big 12? But the production's there. The competition's different, but the production's there. So I got Drew Mestemaker at number 3.
My number 3 quarterback, real quick. I don't think Sean has any more input here yet. Do you? On his
He's
number
waiting
3?
to the end. He's
Okay.
I'm waiting.
All right.
I got something for you.
My number 3, this is the player that I'm the most excited to watch in this entire conference. He could have went to the NFL, and he could have got a little bit more money than he's getting now. But this was a business decision, hoping to improve his draft stock. I got Jaden Craig over at TCU. Jaden Craig, coming in from Harvard, could have easily gone to the NFL. And when I compare his tape, I watched them back to back. I watched 3 Harvard games, and then I watched 3 North Texas games back to back. On tape, the comparison between the two, it's not even close for me. Jaden Craig's got the much better arm. He's going to be more of an NFL quarterback for sure as a prospect. I think he plugs and plays into this TCU system great. I'm not wrong. I'm early.
So
he's my honorable mention.
I actually heard you speak about him. He's not in my top 5, but I heard you speak about him on Bosch CFB TikTok. Hey, you're on to something. He's talented. but he didn't make my top 5. But this is a really competitive quarterback battle we got
Mhm.
here between
Mhm.
all these quarterbacks in this conference. But yeah, I'm going to be on the lookout for him. What you got input on, Sean?
I'm very high on that kid too as well. Um, he's actually my honorable mention. He's literally my sixth guy. Uh, Great. I went and watched some film on him playing at Harvard. I mean, he's a gunslinger, man. He can throw the rock. And I think that he has a lot more success at TCU because I think he has a lot more weapons. But that don't mean I necessarily think that he's going to have the year as these other guys I got on this list right here, man.
Man, that's a dude under the radar that we could be talking highly on at the end of the year, dude. That stuff happens in college football every year. So, but with my number 2 guy, I got Devin Dampier out of Utah. He accounted for 34 total touchdowns in 2025. That is the second most in a single season in Utah history. Who's it behind, you ask Colin? Who's it behind, you ask Sean? People listen to the show. Who's it behind? I don't know. Let me know if this name rings a bell. Alex Smith. With a quarterback like this, defenses are not just defending the pass game. You have to account for him as a runner. Watch out for the design quarterback runs and scrambles. When your name is in the same sentence as Alex Smith, you're a good college football quarterback. Devin Dampier is my number 2.
This might be the only alignment we have in our top 5s, man. I got Devin Dampier sitting at number 2. Look, they lost Jason Beck. Jason Beck was very valuable for Devin Dampier's career, both at New Mexico and Utah. Who do they go and get? Well, another offensive coordinator who worked under Bronco Mendenhall. It was Kevin McGivern, who got Bryson Barnes, the pig farmer, to over 700 yards rushing. What he can do with Devin Dampier, I think, is going to be great. They're going to need Devin Dampier to be a very valuable player for them to be competitive within this conference. I'm excited to see what Devin Dampier can do as far as taking the next step as a passer, but ultimately, dual threat quarterback, Devin Dampier is number 2.
I'd really be surprised if we didn't all three have the same number 1, but we might not. But his name is yet to be mentioned, and it's Noah Fafita.
Fafita.
Fafita. Number 1. He's at Arizona in 2025.
It looks like Sean's giving us an angry side eye right now.
In 2025, he had a 64.3 completion percentage, 3,228 yards, 29 touchdowns. Here's the thing: he had 6 interceptions, but this dude is clocked, locked, and dialed.
This isn't even bad, too.
He's accurate. It's not bad. You're right. He protects the football, and he's already shown he can operate at a high level over an entire season. Dude, this dude right here is going to have a legend. Wait for it. What comes out of a cow? Dairy Run. And that's my number 1. If your number 1's not him, I'm curious. He's out of
No, I got Noah Fafita too. I mean, he's the veteran quarterback in this league, the guy with the most experience. He's performed at a very high level. He's been in college football since the year I was born, for goodness sakes. I mean, this is kind of crazy. So I think Noah Fafita is definitely certainly should be in the conversation for number 1. I swear, Sean, if you don't have him in your top 5, I'm going to lose my mind.
He has him at 5. He's opening at the 5.
He's got him at 5.
Here you go, Sean. Debunk me and Colin's Big 12 QB list. Tell us the truth. Tell us your
not
5
so
for 1.
fast.
Tell
Not
us
so fast, my friend. Not so fast. Hey, listen up. Hey, you already know who my 1 and 2 is. It was Drew Messamaker at 1 and Connor Wegman at 2. That's my 1 and 2. All right, my 3. Y'all, John said his name, Avery Johnson, K-State, right? He's tied. If you didn't know, he's tied passing TDs in school history. He breaks the record this year. Hey, he's going to have a hell of a year. I'm telling you right now, K-State has a favorable schedule, and I actually think that K-State might just end up winning the Big 12 this year. So, hey, watch out now.
Ooh.
Go ahead, Colin.
Do you know who owns that record? Because top of my head, there's one quarterback coming to mind, and he is the head coach.
I think you might very well be right.
Colin Klein, yeah.
Yeah. I think you very. I have to look into that. I didn't look to see who held the record, but
What's the
I did do my research on
what's the
on.
record? What is it?
I didn't see the
I
record
think it's
number.
a
I just
career
know he's
touchdowns record.
yeah he's tied for passing TDs in school history.
It's
Um,
either him or Josh Freeman. I can't imagine it's anybody else. Go ahead, Sean.
number 4, Devin Dampier, like y'all said, Utah. I mean, he's I'm pretty sure if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Colin. I'm pretty sure he's a returning Big 12 Player of the Year on offense. Is he not?
Yes,
Yeah.
he
So I
is.
mean, I think he has a great year. I think he takes a step back though. I don't think he has as great a year as he had last year. I think he has a great year, just not as good as last year, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And then 5th on my list, man. Hey, I'll give it to y'all. Noah barely made the cut here, because I was actually thinking about putting the Craig kid on there, but I gave Noah the benefit of the doubt. I ain't gonna butcher his last name, but I mean he had a great season last year. I think he has a decent season this year. I just I don't see Arizona get like I don't see the weapons that he has around him to kind of give him that year that
So
those
the
guys have.
the career touchdown record at Kansas State is a three-way tie between Darren Sproles, Will
No,
Howard.
passing touchdowns.
Yeah,
He's tied with Will Howard.
yeah. They all got so Darren Sproles has 48 total touchdowns. When you go into career passing alone, Will Howard and Avery Johnson have 48.
Yeah, so that's saying something because look who's in the NFL now, Will Howard, and he
All right,
transferred.
but are we ready? Are we ready to go into Big 12 predictions? Are we
I'm
ready, guys?
fired up.
Let's
I'm
roll.
fired up.
Put your seatbelts on because it seems like it's about to get wild. Wilder than the SEC, Big Ten, and ACC is insane. But here we go. My top five, just to recap it, was Noah 50, Devon Dapper, Drew Mestamaker, Avery Johnson, Connor Wigman. Hey, tell us, watch the episode. Tell us where we were wrong. Um, Big 12 championship. It's easy for me. I'm taking the rematch of last year. BYU, Texas Tech.
I'm not.
BYU's a good football team. Uh, we know the Red Razors, they have the physicality and the trench play to win this league. This is not a big defensive league. Texas Tech has that. I don't think the Big 12 is going to be won by the flashiest team. It may be won by the team that can survive the weekly fistfights. And I think BYU and Texas Tech have that. Every time we do these conference predictions, we save the champion for last. So BYU, Texas Tech's my game.
I'm taking Houston and BYU in the conference championship game. Texas Tech, though, I do think is going to be really good, but I am most confident about BYU getting to this game than any team in this conference, just based on how their schedule sets up. They got to win the Holy War, but if they can win the Holy War, I like their odds to be 8-1 or better within conference.
Okay. I kind of we both got the same team in there, Colin. That's wild. And then I got a team that John has, so I mean I got a little bit of both from you. I got Texas Tech and Houston in the conference game. Championship
Which
game.
makes sense as high as you are on Connor Wigman.
Yeah, so when we talk about the contenders, I think all three of us would put Texas Tech, Houston, and BYU as contenders, or you guys kind of not as high on BYU?
I got BYU as a contender.
Yeah.
Let's
you had them in the conference championship, so you got to answer about Houston.
let's change directions real quick. Let's go into Player of the Year. Because
I'm not gonna lie, I went really deep cut with this. So
I got L.J. Martin at BYU. Here's one of the reasons I'm high on BYU. He ran for 1,300 yards in 2025, seventh most in BYU history, if anybody wants to know. He's also been named Big 12 Preseason Offensive Player of the Year and a USA Today Preseason All-American. He's my Player of the Year I'll give y'all my honorable mentions in a minute because it's gonna go into my contenders. It's gonna break it down. But yeah, go ahead. Let's hear y'all's player of the year.
Yeah, I went with a defensive player for this one. And I went with a guy who's going to rack up a lot of stats and a lot of production. And it's kind of a coin flip on which linebacker it's going to be. But I picked Ben Roberts from Texas Tech. He was a guy that kind of got overshadowed by Jacob Rodriguez, but probably shouldn't have been. He forced the same amount of turnovers in 2024 as Jacob Rodriguez. And in 2025, I believe he was only 1 or 2 shy, had an interception in the playoff game against Oregon. Ben Roberts is a really good player. Now, I will say, Bryce Pollock, probably a better player than him. He's not going to get the stats to be considered here.
Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, man. This was a tough one for me, man. This one was a tough one. I'm not going to lie to you. It's so hard because there's a lot of good players in the Big 12, and I hate to say it. I really do. I hate to say that. It just feels wrong coming out of my mouth. God, I just...
We're becoming a Big 12 podcast, right?
No, I can't. No.
You
I just
take
don't
2
know.
SEC guys and a Big 10 guy, and you get a Big 12 podcast. How about that? Only in college football can that happen, because that's how great college football is.
It's a long division. It's a long division.
Week 0 is right around the corner, and Alabama's coming up soon, and we're going to be blaring Dixieland a lot, yelling Roll Tide. I'm clock marching.
You mean that song about Tennessee?
It's not about Tennessee. It's about the Tennessee River, which runs through Alabama.
But, hey,
We've been playing that for decades before Tennessee even tried to claim it.
Move on.
We were just talking about him. I'm going to give you a hint. You basically just said my player of the year. He's on the team that I said will make the conference championship.
Me? I said it? Are you talking about Bryce Pollock?
No.
I picked
Houston.
Oh, Connor Wegman?
Yep, that's my pick for player of the year.
I mean, it makes sense.
If we're talking quarterbacks, I really didn't want to put a quarterback in here because we already hit quarterbacks, and I just don't see one stepping out to be that player of the year. But it's going to be.
I think he does.
I wanted to say Jaden Craig so bad, but I just couldn't.
You think that he could be player of the year?
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and give me all my honorable mentions for player of the year. I'm going to give you both of them. I took down Caleb Hawkins at Oklahoma State, dude. And he's got Drew Mestemaker throwing to him. The dude, and I know he's a running back, but he can catch out of that backfield. And he had 1,400 rush yards last year, 29 total touchdowns at North Texas.
As a freshman.
It's not like him and Drew Mestemaker have never played together before. So I'm interested to see what Caleb Hawkins can do in Stillwater. And Drew Mestemaker's got some good receivers too. Watch out for Oklahoma State. And I'm only bringing them up so much because I didn't put them as a sleeper, but I really wanted to. I really did. And then I look at Cam Cook at West Virginia. He led the nation with 1,600 rushing yards at Jacksonville State in 2025. Alabama College, by the way, before transferring to West Virginia. So watch out for Cam Cook.
That was my honorable mention.
I've had this debate with a West Virginia fan about Cam Cook. He's going to have a good year. I don't have any doubt about that. That 1,600 yards, he was very much everything in that offense. They gave him the ball a ton. Last time he was in the Big 12, it didn't really work out, and he had to end up at Jack State.
My dog's even getting fired up about football right now.
She does not like what you just said, Colin.
But yeah, my sleeper team, and we can talk about contenders, but I think I got Texas Tech, BYU as playoff teams. Depending on how the conference championships go, and how the college football playoff committee wants to put it out. But and then you got Houston, Utah, on the outside looking in. And I know I'm missing one. I just can't think of it. I'm missing
Kansas
one.
State, maybe?
K-State is mine.
K-State, yeah. But Arizona. I think this is where Noah Fafita comes into play. Arizona's one of those teams where people can look at October and say, hey, wait a minute. Arizona's actually really good. I have no doubt in
Yeah.
my mind that Arizona fit. I will say this, and I'll put this down as a prediction, and if I'm wrong, I'll put on Josh Pate's clown nose. I'll email him and ask him to borrow it. But I really do, and this is not a bold prediction. I have Arizona finishing in the top 25 at the end of the year.
I mean, it's not that bold. It's not. It's possible. I mean, for sure. Now, I do think Arizona and Utah, to me, didn't really fit in the category, but two teams fit as sleepers. I already mentioned the contenders, Texas Tech, Houston, BYU. So before we really get into pretenders or sleepers, I don't really care which one we do first. Sean, you got anything to add to the contenders part?
I mean, I already hit on my sleeper, so if y'all want to go ahead and hit on sleeper.
Wait. Sleeper was who? Arizona? Okay.
Arizona.
My sleeper, like I said, my sleeper is K-State. Then the only other one that is kind of in between a sleeper and a contender, I don't really think that they're necessarily a pretender. Is like y'all said, Utah. Like I don't know where to really put them. I'm not so high on Arizona like y'all two are, but yeah.
I mean, like I said, I didn't really put them in a category, but I wrote a pretenders category, and I'll just give you the sleepers now, and then we can have a discussion about these two pretenders because I think we will probably disagree on that. I like Arizona State a lot. I like what they did in the transfer portal this offseason. It's a lot of new, but it's reminiscent of the 2024 season that Kenny Dillingham had. And I'm not predicting a repeat of that. Cutter Bullies got to be able to progress. That offense has got to be able to progress. So, fall camp reports in their first scrimmage. I didn't see their second, but they were struggling to finish drives, which is a little bit of a concern. So you kind of hope that they can get that figured out in the red zone. I like Baylor as a sleeper team. They're the big wild card to me. Look, we didn't mention DJ Lagway in the quarterback segment. I think DJ Lagway still got a ton of upside. I'm not as out on him as a lot of people are, but they're still a prove that wasn't really you. That wasn't the real you kind of thing with DJ Lagway. I'm confident in the Baylor offense. If Dave Aranda can get that defense corrected, Baylor is the very biggest wild card in this conference. And then TCU. You've heard me talk about Jaden Craig. I think he can plug and play in that offense. The question really is what's going to differentiate TCU, the team, from the last couple of years?
Okay, so I want to say this about Lagway. He's a great quarterback. I've seen it. I've looked on the film, and I've seen how good Lagway can be. I have pretenders in the ACC. I have pretenders in the Big Ten, with Iowa, SEC being Missouri. I don't quite remember who my pretender was in the ACC off the top of my head right now, but I want to hit on Lagway. Dude's a great quarterback. I see a high ceiling from him. I've seen him be able to play that position at elite level, and I really got to put the blame on Billy Napier here. I was a big Lagway supporter. Couldn't figure out why he was struggling in the transfer portal. And then I was a Lagway doubter. I was like, maybe I'm wrong. If everybody disagrees with me, maybe I'm wrong. But then when you really look at Billy Napier, every quarterback he had got worse under him. Kyle Trask, Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway. So I think Billy Napier has a problem with quarterbacks. And I think Lagway's a really good quarterback, and he's shown it.
I don't know if I'd say that about Graham Mertz, but those other guys, you got a case. Anyway, so we kind of going with pretenders here? Or, Sean, do you have anything on Lagway? Not really.
Yeah, and that was what I was saying. I had Sean, sorry, you got anything on Lagway?
Not much. I mean, he has potential. Just I gotta see him bounce back. That's all.
Yeah.
And I think he will. But what I was getting at with the pretenders, I had Missouri, I had Iowa, and I don't remember who I had in the ACC. My mind's going blank. If one of y'all remember, let me know.
But everybody should just say Clemson.
but I don't have a true pretender in this conference. I don't. I think this conference is very slept on, and that's what the part of what makes the Big 12 so interesting. It's too deep, it's too unpredictable, and it's too physical. And I don't have a pretender. I know this is a segment on this prediction part of the show, but I just don't have one. I tried.
Well, I do. Sean, do you?
You said what now?
A pretender?
Who is so high on the college football this is my question. Who is so high in the college football preseason polls that's everybody so highly on that we're like, no, this team's not going to be that
Well,
good.
I'll tell you exactly who it is. It's all of these fools. I'm not accusing you guys. Don't take this the wrong way. It's all of these fools who don't watch college football, who don't understand Group of Six football, who are just expecting that Oklahoma State is going to come in here and they're going to be a dangerous team. That's the trendy thing for people like our good old buddy in TikTok Live. I'm not going to name his name, but he might know who he is. Trying to pretend like they know more ball than they do. You don't need to pretend. Be an expert at what you're an expert at. You don't need to pretend like you know ball. Eric Morris was on the hot seat before going into last year. Last year saved his job. It was a one-year wonder with a weak American Conference schedule. They have good players. They're going to be a decent team. They're not going to be that good. They're not going to fight for be a sleeper team for a conference championship. I'm tired of hearing about Oklahoma State. And then I did want to bring up this team because I've cooled off on them quite a bit. So I think they're still going to be a solid team, but first-year coach, first time ever as a head coach, and he just lost two of his top three at minimum, maybe even his top two offensive tackles for the season. John Pastor, George Fitzpatrick, both out for the year at Kansas State. That's a big deal, especially because I expect for their defense, and I've expected all this way, I expected that their defense would take a step back from what they were last year, losing guys like Austin Romaine and Toby Osunsanmi, and they lost the other kid at Indiana. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Anyway, not going to stick on that too long. The bottom line is this. Their defense is going to take a step back. Their offense was supposed to level up. I'm concerned about their offense leveling up without their top two tackles, including a first-team All-Big 12 selection in the preseason.
I want to play a quick game with you, Colin. It's two questions. It's a two-question game. That's an over-under. This is my predictions for both the teams you mentioned. And I agree with Kansas State, and Kansas State's one of those teams where it's going to be really interesting. They can be really, really good, but there's some questions that were there that was not there 3 months ago. Oklahoma State. I have them going 9-3. I spoke very highly of their roster, and that's a big contribution. Why? Over or under?
Way under.
What's the record?
At least two games. I got them at 6-6, but at least two games. I think 7-5, 6-6 is probably what they'll go. I'd be a little surprised if they're 5-7, but 5-7 is within the realm of possibility.
Okay, and then I look at Kansas State. My final record predicted for them was 7-5. We going over or under?
I'm over that. Mainly because I'm pretty sure I have them winning every out-of-conference game. I can't remember their out-of-conference schedule top of my head. If they're able to manage that, I can pull it up.
They got a nice schedule for them, Colin. I'm telling you right now. State has a nice schedule.
I just think and I agree with you, Sean. I remember looking at Kansas State and liking their schedule and being like, hold up, we might have somebody else who enters into the chat as far as
we got Nichols, Washington State, and Tulane.
Yeah, so I got them going 3-0 out of conference and 5-4 in conference play. And again, it's just I expected their defense to take a step back. You don't lose that type of leadership and not necessarily replace it very well with a new first-time head coach and expect for it to be able to be on the same level as it was. Kansas State's defense was pretty good, and their struggles early in the season was offensive. And I expect Colin Klein to make that offense better. But man, I am really worried about the tackle position right now.
All right.
We gotta realize how electric that Avery Johnson is, though. He's gonna make that offense tick on all cylinders. I don't care. I get it. Yeah, tackles they matter. They do. I'll say that firsthand. I mean, I'm a Bama fan, and we saw how bad it was last year. We ain't gonna get too much into that though. But like Avery Johnson isn't no sitting here like a duck, pocket passer. Avery Johnson has wheels. Avery Johnson will get out of that pocket. Like, if you want to be honest, I feel like he's more of a run first quarterback. Like, that's just the way I feel about him.
He's fast, man. He's
And,
really
and,
fast.
and,
Oh,
and if he
Goldilocks
gets
going down the field.
loose, if he gets loose, oh
I agree.
my God. Good luck.
I agree
Good
with
luck.
you, Sean. I agree. But who are your sleepers? No, pretenders. Sorry, we're on pretenders. Who
My
are your
pretender actually is somebody y'all both are high on. I could see him being, great, but not so great. And it's BYU.
All right. Colin, you want to say anything on that?
I didn't catch it. I had to get a sip of water. I just had a cough attack.
His pretender is BYU. And I'm telling you, BYU is a good football team. They don't have to play Texas Tech this year. They do play
Sean,
Notre Dame.
I don't know if you said it, but what was your reasoning behind that? Why is BYU a pretender?
I feel like they got a lot. Oh, Sean, why are they pretenders? Sorry.
I mean, really, it boils down to that defensive side of the ball. Really, I don't think they, are as good as they were last year. I think they take a step back. I'm not saying they're gonna take 6 losses or anything. You know what I'm saying? But I think that they go like a 9-3, maybe 10-2. You know what I'm saying?
See,
from what I'm understanding, and I may be wrong, but from everything I've seen, that team is returning a lot.
I think that defense could potentially be, from a roster perspective, better, but I do. Jay Hill was a great defensive coordinator, and he went off to Michigan with Kyle Whittingham. I think he's going to be great at Michigan. I hate the fact that I love Michigan's staff so much, but it is what it is. I just don't know, man, if I don't know how low that floor is right now, given the amount of returning production. And, Cade Ulawave is one of the better, and I hope I said that last name right. He's one of the better transfer portal gets that they could have gotten from California. He's a great player, shined as a young player. I'm excited to see what that defense looks like. I'm more worried about the receiver position than anything. You shut that thing up.
He's fired up. He doesn't like what you're saying.
Or he's excited about what I'm saying. But let's talk about the worst of the worst, why don't we?
The bottom of the barrel, I'll mention 4 teams here, and Colin's not going to like one of these. So we got Iowa State. I have them going 2-10. Kansas State. I mean, Kansas, not Kansas.
I was like, I thought you were liking them a little bit.
Kansas, I got them going 2-10. West Virginia, I talked high about Cam Cook, but I got them going 4-8, and I don't see Baylor improving much, unlike you, Colin. But they might. They got some upside, but I got them at 4-8 as well.
Well, I have Kansas and Iowa State too, though. I'm never going to really count out Lance Leipold. I like Lance Leipold a lot, but Jimmy Rogers, his first time or first year at Iowa State might regress back. But, Jimmy Rogers, good history, won a FCS national championship at South Dakota State. We'll see what the future looks like. But 2026, I think we all agree Iowa State should not be good. And then Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's going to have a really bad year, man. And I'm not a big Scott Satterfield fan. I really pretty much think that no head coaches nowadays pull off the visor like Kirby Smart and Gus Malzahn. So you wear a visor like Eli Drinkwitz included, you look like a goofball. So get out of my Power
We're
Four.
putting a coach at the bottom of the barrel just because he wears a visor.
That's not the only reason why. Listen, the thing about Cincinnati is they ended up going 7-6. They lost their last, I believe, 5 games in a row, 4 or 5 games in a row. They were either 7-2 or I think they were 7-2, and they ended up going 7-6. That roster was not a 7-6 roster. Period. I don't care about injuries or anything like that. There was no reason, with all the talent that they had in the Big 12, that they collapsed like that. I think that downward momentum continues on to this year, and he gets fired.
They were in the top 25 at one time, wasn't
Yeah, that's at 7-2, and then they lost the rest of their games.
Sean, you got anything? You want to give us your bottom of the barrel?
I mean, y'all kind of took them all. Cincinnati's down there. Iowa State's down there. I got Arizona State also is down there. I think who was the other one? Kansas is down there. Who was the other one you said, Bosch?
Cincinnati, did you mention them?
No, yeah, I said they were down there.
I said Cincinnati, Iowa State, and Kansas.
I had Iowa State, Kansas, West Virginia, and Baylor.
Okay, I agree with all those. I don't know about so much. I think that West Virginia actually, hits 500 this year.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be very competitive. And another team we didn't talk about is UCF.
West Virginia be good.
Yeah, UCF. Yeah.
We didn't talk about UCF. I think that they're going to be a sneaky team, tricky to play on the road this year. I mean, I don't think they're going to be crazy, but they have some talent. Scott Frost, the little rerun over there. We'll see what kind of jump they can make in year 2 of his second tenure there.
You want to play the over-under game? I'll have them going 6-6.
I think I have them going 7-5, but I'm not positive. I think like 8-4 is probably the ceiling for them in my eyes, but I would have to check. I got it right here. Don't worry. Damn it. I dropped my water.
Sorry, guys. I had to buckle up for this
6-6. I had them going 6-6 as well. But they could be a sneaky team.
So, I swear, I think it's time for a wrap-up. I'm going to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What a time to be alive if you're a college football fan. We got NFL players potentially going back to college. Looks like
we didn't even pick our champion. Who wins that game?
Oh, Texas Tech, Red Raiders.
I'm taking BYU.
Give me my Cougs.
Well, hopefully.
Three different teams.
Hopefully, me and Colin's right, and we can have this conversation at the end of the year, and I can be right at the end of the year. But if Sean's right and Houston's somehow in that game, then, and it's Houston and Texas Tech. If Sean's
I have Houston playing BYU.
Oh, you had Houston. I thought you had Tech.
No, you had Tech and BYU. I had Houston and BYU. Sean had Houston and Texas Tech. So we had the same 3 teams, a different game, a different champion. I love this conference, dude.
This is why I take notes. But yeah, if it's Houston, I'm out of the conversation. But if it's a Texas Tech BYU game, me and Colin can talk. If it's Houston and BYU, me and Sean can talk. If it's Houston and Tech, oh gosh. But yeah, I mean we got NFL players. As I was saying, it's a time to be alive as a college football fan, and we're right around the corner. Talking season's almost over, and I'm excited. But we got NFL players potentially going back to college. We got current courts determine eligibility. We got conferences creating their own rules. We got Group of 6 fighting for a playoff spot. And we got a Big 12 that I think is severely underrated in the nation, nationally. And if you didn't get anything out of this episode, please understand that the Big 12 is underrated nationally. We can rank quarterbacks, we can pick conference champions, we can argue playoff teams, and eventually the games have to be played, and we're close to that. And that's when we find out who's real, who's a sleeper, who's a fraud, and who's going to be standing there in December. And I hope I'm right in December. But that's college football, and that's why we love it. So with that being said, I'm going to ask y'all to please subscribe to us on Spotify and YouTube. We've got big things coming. Every time we film, I feel like it's getting better and better. It costs nothing out of your pocket to subscribe. And then also, if you got any social media platforms from Instagram to TikTok, Facebook, we got old Hello Sports on there, and we got clips coming on there. We've been delayed on that, but we got some coming. Also, Colin's got his own show called
Listen,
Box
let me
Yeah.
just tap in here real quick.
Go ahead.
We're just getting started. If you have made it through, if you're one of the loyal listeners of TikTok Live and all that stuff in that community, we really appreciate you making it through this. We got big
Shout
things
out to my
coming.
boy Ramsey.
I'm going to be doing a whole lot of work when it comes to making the product better. So even if you don't like my football takes or any of our football takes, everything from a presentation standpoint is going to be better. Everything from involvement with the viewer is going to be so much better. And I plan on applying that to OLO Sports and, of course, my own YouTube channel with Bash's College Football Show, and on TikTok. You saw a glimpse of it today. If you go and check out my most recent, or yesterday, if you go and check out my post.
And you can follow Sean on TikTok as well. He has lives. Subscribe to his show, by the way, if you're not already subscribed. And he runs really good lives. Another thing I'm going to ask for y'all that's completely free to do, give 5 stars on Spotify. It pushes it out to who it needs to get to. The real college football fans, it's free just like subscribing. It pushes it out who it needs to get to. And with that being said, tune in for next episode. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to keep getting better and better. Talk to me. I'm going to talk back. Toodles.
Oh, God.